Hello, and welcome back to the Commander's Guide to Casting the Last Spell. I'm Jade Star, and we're here on Day 5, Night 6, and we have so many bodies to dig up. Ah, yes. Excellent. Nice. That's 9 items right there, and we're not done. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14? I forgot exactly how many. But the DCS is now really paying off. It would continue to do this, but Gildenhaven's kind of a short haven, so we only have a couple of nights at full efficiency. Just look at all that, though. And I have one worker left over. I'm gonna save my decision on that one. Might use the mono well. Oh, that's good. We're feeding the Dark Oracle corrupted magic? Great. Gonna have so many production buildings when we get into Lakeburg. When I actually build facilities. I get lost scrolling through the omens a little bit. There are some nice omens out there, but we don't really need those right now. What I'm looking for is fun things. The gauntlet and the cannon are probably my favorite DLC weapons. Shield's pretty good. And the elf weapons are just, you know, whatever. They're elves. Sooner or later, we're going to finish out the rest of the hero upgrades. That's what I really want to get through. Eventually you can get some very powerful hero upgrades through Tainted Essence. Ooh, nice accuracy. Yeah, we'll take that. At 24, we're pretty good. I mean, I'd like a little bit more normally on a ranged character, but Bradford's using short-range pistols, so I don't know if he really needs more. And I'm going to take Monogrowth just to add more fuel to magic fuel. 2 move points is nice, but she's got 12. But 3 of that's based on gear, which might go away depending on what we find. So 2 move points is pretty good. And then Opportunism, blue, just, and she doesn't even have any. Absolute slam pick. Just make sure we get that extra damage in there from Opportunism. Oh, my little ankle clawer is active and climbing over the desk and me and everything. Again, more magic fuel, just some more passive damage. Not the best choices. Basic damage, basic critical. At 52% damage, I feel like crit starts to become more worth it. We got a pretty high damage multiplier. Also, especially since I'm gonna think about going down the bully perk line. Although I guess crit power might help with more of that, but more crit is good. It's a little bit late for experience gain, even though it's a blue. It feels hard to reroll that. It feels bad to reroll that. And then I reroll myself into a corner and I get a brown experience gain. I should have just taken the blue. Feels bad. A lot of our heroes are turning out the same way. A lot of them have the blue line. We're just going contaminate bully. Balana, hey. Oh, okay. Hopefully she didn't knock anything over. So many things to pick through. I'll be right back. Oh my god, there was just so many items. So many items that we even got a prowess accomplishment. We have bought, or crafted, air quotes, more than 50 items and have unlocked the ability for red items to show up in shops. It's very funny since we've been getting red items in the body piles already. So here's what we've gotten. Got a couple things for Bradford. A short bow as a backup weapon. A slightly nicer pistol. And then a slightly nicer shield, not that it really matters, but might as well. For Serpentis, we got a sword. Now, it's swords and hammers is like apples and oranges. They don't work the same. They're not quite the same. But a level 2 over a level 0 Rusty is kind of a no-brainer. And then I had this ring, and it has multi-hits on it. And I'm like, why is that in the column that I have for Serpentis? She's not going to make any use of it. No, we'll give her the Baron Cape, which has damage, physical damage, and momentum. All 3 things that make the sword better. What was I thinking? Habitually red, we'll get a better book. Now, it's not red with cool stats, but it's 2 or 3 levels just of base damage higher. So, just base damage kind of wins out in the end. And a spiked helmet for even more damage. And then over here on NG, we're going to get her a hand crossbow. And then it's like, oh yeah, hand crossbow, power ring, multi-hits. Yeah, what was I thinking? The obsidian body armor got rolled, and I was like, it's not the best, but it was obviously better than starter kit. And now I've got these like 10, 12 things to sell and get some money. Before we do that, we should upgrade the shop so that we get the best prices, I guess. Like, we can sell for about 20% more now. And then I see the hand crossbow, and I'm like, yeah, whatever, too late. I'm going to buy some potions with our money. I'm going to sell everything. Then I'm going to have a lot of money left over, and you can troll the shop by just re-rolling it and looking through what's available. And that becomes a big part of the DCS later on Havens that last more than 7 nights, as you eventually just have so much money, you're just constantly pouring through the shop looking for items. But I'm just going to cut it out, because I didn't get anything here. I think I bought another health potion, and then I saw this gauntlet, and I'm like, I really like gauntlets. They're fun. But I don't really have anyone to use it with. The problem with gauntlets are that they are very, very short-ranged. Unless under specific circumstances, which gets into the gauntlet's whole like DLC gimmick, they have range 2. So they're basically a melee weapon. I'm gonna put just a couple of walls back, just in the corners, kind of, to prevent runners or whatever from getting to the houses. Not strictly necessary, but may as well. I realized I built that one tile out. I don't know why I did that. That should have been one tile more diagonally. What would that be? West. Whoops. Oh well. And now we're going to try to decide who goes onto which edge of the map. We're going to split up 2 by 2, of course. And I feel pretty confident. Big waves kind of going to come in, but I feel like our 2 heroes on each side have ample killing power to just kill anything the moment it sets foot in the Haven. Yeah, we're ready. Oh, I see Lancers already. Now the Horde's gonna have to come in thicker, or else these guys aren't gonna be that much of a threat. I feel like I've covered Lancers before, but maybe I didn't, which is why I'm lingering on this one. Lancers are heavily armored, and they have a up to 2 range attack that pierces armor. It's very dangerous for heroes. Typically armor is your first line of defense against clawers, and Lancers will go straight to your health. And while we do multi-hundreds of damage every attack, our heroes generally can't survive triple digits of damage on a regular basis. So even one Lancer can be a problem. That said, for the Degenerate Corp strategy, Lancers aren't too much of a problem. Unless the, unless you have things really close to the Haven line. Like, if you have to kill them on the border, then Lancers can be a problem, because maybe they scoot forward and then hit something 2 spaces out with the reach of their spear. But here in Gildenhaven, we have such a large cushion before they get to the ballista walls that this shouldn't be an issue. Our ballistas even fire 3 tiles out of the Haven, which isn't actually good for our purposes. Excuse me. So I'm looking at this Lancer and I'm thinking, is he going to get distracted by that wooden scaffolding, or is he going to come around the corner? So it'd be better if he came around the corner and got in the Haven and died in the Haven. Lancers are probably mid, maybe we could call them heavy, somewhere in there, in terms of value and danger. Oh yes, the one thing I will probably say about the DCS, and this might be a individual determination for anybody who tries it, but one of the rules I do when I do this is never suffer the enemy to have ranged units. Like, the archers may not be super dangerous, really, but never let the enemy have range. They can move like 3 or 4, and they can shoot like 3 or 4 or 5. And just, you might think you're safe because you see me holding down Alt and you see their movement range, and you plan yourself and you're outside of all of that range and you think you're going to be safe, and then you take a few arrows and bad things happen. Alternatively, if you let them too close to the Haven border, then your ballistas can get in range and they can shoot the ballistas. Assuming they don't die from the ballistas, but they have a fair bit of armor. It's just, archers are unnecessary risk like that. I mean, they've missed, but there's really no reason to let yourself take ranged fire from the clawers. Oh, they're so close. They're not quite in the Haven yet. What was it? Oh, right, I didn't shoot the armor with the 3rd bolt because I didn't actually want to kill it. But then I ended up critting and killing the regular anyway. Ah, well. Again, in just general strategy, I am contaminating everything. Contamination on its own doesn't do anything, but it spreads and it counts as a debuff for opportunism. So even though contamination is basically doing nothing, it lends to opportunism damage, and there's really no reason not to, especially when you have the blue skill that lets you put 2 of it out for free every turn. Now, if you have, you know, contamination and the Tome of Weakening Touch, then you can do some real things. Like, we can pass that Weakening Touch debuff down the line if we wanted to. They're not in the Haven right now, but it's very possible to have just a chain of enemies and just debuff the heck out of the front one, kill it, and just have the contamination move the debuffs down the line as you kill more and more. Which is sort of what I'm hoping to do here. I'm hoping these guys walk into the Haven, take Ballista Fire, die, pass the debuff down the line, and then next turn they're, if anything that's still alive is still debuffed. I feel like we're strong enough that I don't really need to do that, but there's no reason not to. Oh, well, okay. Well, the blocker that's debuffed and contaminated is inside the Haven and lived. Man, remember the first time around when, like, a horde this size was something that I would be worried about? And we'd whittle away as I kind of, like, backpedaled towards safety. And now it's just like, yeah, hurry up, get in the Haven, guys. Well, there's the contagion spreading. Actually, like, doing something and being effective and cool. Not that it was strictly necessary. A little worried about that Lancer. Just making sure we're out of range. Oh, those guys are so debuffed. And still didn't get a one-shot. That feels bad. Although it is an elf in the Haven, so, you know, we're losing a lot of damage potential there. Not that I'm going to do it, but I'm pointing out that, oh man, would this be the place for a Chain Lightning? Finally, these guys get to do something as well. I haven't thought about it much, but I feel like Poison is probably not great for the DCS, because it takes time to act, and you really want things dead the turn they're in the Haven. But Slow Death at least also debuffs movement, so if you have a particularly dangerous thing outside that's got enough health to survive a lot of poison, and you don't want getting closer until you've cleaned up or are ready for it, just throwing 3 stacks of poison on something big outside the Haven can be a really nice way to buy yourself some time. I feel like that works out probably better in normal Havens, where you're going to be outside the walls and you have like distance to seed while the poison kills them. And if you have as much Contaminate on the team as I do, Poison is great. Like, Poison to just absolute heck out of a single Claw, Contaminate him, and then kill him so it starts spreading. Because Contaminate will spread to 2 targets that are adjacent. So, you know, you poison 1, you get 2, you spread those, you can get 4, and, you know, exponents of 2. Not that you always get 2 per spread, but, oh, it's so fun when you can get just poison going everywhere. Oh, I forgot that. Yeah, so I poisoned that Lancer to make sure he had just not enough movement to reach a ballista. He has enough movement to get into the Haven, but not to hit anything I care about. He might be able to, like, if I remember right, stab the body pile we're standing next to, but not anything I care about. And because we'll kill him next turn, we'll put Contaminate on him. There we go. Easy. Easy. I don't think Bradford even did anything yet. Just making sure that the Lancer can't stab me. I think I'm intentionally letting Bradford take a hit or 2, just for the sake of progression, I think. Armor sets and shields unlock depending on how much resistance or block or armor you've used to defend yourself with. I remember that misclick. I didn't realize that I had 2 tiles of range on dash, and I think I just misclicked the Clawer and clicked the tile behind it and just went past them and didn't hit them. Again, elf damage in Haven. But isolate them, contaminate them, pull out the orb. No problem. If I remember right, sooner or later I'm going to remember that I can just get the elf out of the Haven. Yeah, just go way over there. I guess the other thing about trying to anticipate just taking an attack for the sake of farming up block numbers or whatever is that whatever's next to my heroes might not survive their turn long enough to attack me because of the ballistas. Yeah, nothing survived next to a hero. I mean, I did get shot by an archer though. So poisoning the Lancer on the northeast just worked out perfectly. It wandered into the Haven, didn't hit anything I cared about. And it's going to die to the poison without me having to do anything else. That is a nice cluster of claws. Yeah. Me retroactively finding out that Dash has 2 tiles of movement. Alright, alright. That could have been a fireball or a chain lightning had I felt like it. But when you can get that many attacks in with a swordsman, you're in good shape. I wish I had one more AP to throw another weakening touch in there, but oh well. Now that they're in the Haven, the hand crossbow is a great way to kill armored. Or find clawers that aren't at full health and pick them off. 3 kills for 1 AP is always great. Pretty sure that was just me having fun with the short bow. Or just not wanting to have to move Bradford the 1 tile to momentum power the pistol for kill shots. Somewhat unnecessary, but fun. I really do like the poison contagion combo. One small problem with that is that they have changed how the poison line 4th skill worked, Epidemic. It used to be a choice that if you applied poison to a target, you also applied contagion, which was insanely powerful. I did have a very specific anti-synergy, but for the most part, like with the hand crossbow or whatever, you put poison on somebody, they died, they spread it to the people next to them, they died, the next turn they spread it, it was great. Now you're really better off kind of doing it the way we're doing. I think I am trying to feed NG more kills on the northeast side of thing, as she was hired as a fresh level 5. Yeah, and Bradford's already halfway through 6, so she's at like 5.7. Bradford's at like 6.5. So I want her to get more kills. That didn't really go the way I wanted it to. But it probably works. First, suffer no ranged. And then let's try to thin out the ones in the Haven. Although that did use most of Red's AP. So now I've got, what, 7 things inside the Haven and only 5 AP on Serpentis? Ah, we're fine. We're fine. Time to use a little bit of mana, we're fine. Or did I mess this up? Well, we've got one thing. Ah, no, I got the 1 AP over here. We're fine. Damn. And back into the Haven. It's silly. But this is also why in the future I might just be replacing elves for DCS runs. When we're rolling in money, that's something you can do. Hell, you can do that on non-DCS runs. Especially, actually, red would be a good candidate for it, for replacement, sorry. Because we took a lot of experience gain, perks, and level ups on some of our heroes, especially red with, like, Urban Hate. And I think most of them have Avid Learner, and also defensive training for getting experience from ballista kills. And that levels them up, which is great. But once they've hit a high level, or even max level, where you stop getting perks, at that point, I would rather those perks that previously led to experience gain be, like, combat-efficient perks, like things that have an impact on their ability to defend the Haven. But because they're leveled up, they've leveled up your team, and that means the heroes in the Haven, not the Haven, the Inn have leveled up. So somewhere around midway or near the end of a Haven run, if you have a hero that is just full of like experience gain picks and perks that are all experience gain, and you have a bunch of money, you can just sack them and then take a hero of equal level out of the tavern and gear them up. This is kind of a gamble because you're gambling what like traits or how their perks will be rolled, or you know, those sorts of things. But sometimes you just have a hero that's like, oh great, he's got 3 learning perks, a bunch of experience level ups, and he's just not killing clawers that I want dead in one hit. So he's behind the curve. You just fire him and get a new one. And then all those picks that were for experience then become combat effective perks. I think this was a little science to demonstrate what happens when something dies of poison with contagion. I mean, not that we haven't seen that already. I think we've seen that. But it's an order of operations thing. Because that poison also comes with a movement down, what's going to happen is that the archer's going to die, and all the status effects are going to apply to this armored next to it, but they won't influence the start of the armored's turn. Like, it's not going to lose a movement for getting poisoned and then transferred over. Or did it? Hold on. That's a little hard to tell with the Horde. Well, it certainly didn't take damage from the poison, but that was, well, it only moved 2. Shoot, I should have checked the tapes more closely. Grave shot, still just great against hordes of regulars. Ah, so good. I'm just farming action points spent on axes to get better axes from the Oracle of Light. Just spending AP on them. I guess, in theory, one of those could reach base contact with NG and take a swipe. I think the ballistas would have that handled down. Now let's step out of the Haven and mop up the few things that are remaining on this side of things. I really do enjoy daggers as a backup weapon for melees. Just the incredibly high damage from isolation hits with backstab, backed up by throw dagger, which I think was unblockable. And then also poison daggers in case you want to just multi-hit something and spread poison, or throw them all at the same target but really poison them. It's a very good backup weapon. Again, considerations are range. Typically I like a short bow or a crossbow probably as my backup weapon for a melee fighter, so they have some reach. But daggers aren't bad. Bradford needing the one step to charge the pistol with momentum. Entirely unnecessary. I think that is also just spending AP for the progression on the light side of the things. And then standing there hoping I'm going to get swiped. Or maybe I'm just trying to control where that armor dies, because that's a really thick body pile there, because there's no way it was living through that many ballistas that debuffed. So this went exceedingly well. This was pretty easy. Tried to... Well, I mean, if you want to throw me more tainted essence for doing what I was going to do anyway, sure. Man, 1,200 extra damage from opportunism. It really pays off. And then this is why I think there's a bit of a cap on how many corpses you can generate, because down here on the southwest side of things, that's a pretty weak pile of bodies. But over here, ooh, it's dense. It's nice. Maybe I just rolled poorly on the southwest, but maybe the game is just like, okay, you've had enough. There's like 3 mountains over there in the northeast. So we have a lot of things to turn in, another prowess accomplishment, so we'll get some new stuff next time. A lot of bodies to dig up. And then the final preparation for the last night. And so I'll see you all next time when we get ready for the Harpies. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you then.